that power that we have inside of each of us. But what does it take? This is the most important piece, because we all have the power. It's just accessing it, and again, understanding how to retain what it is once we have found it, because we know how life gets in the way, and then we forget certain things.
There's definitely a maintenance piece that goes along with it, for sure. And we're pretty pumped today because you guys don't just have to listen to us. Well, I mean, I know you love clearly, because you come back. So I know that you love listening to us all the time, but we've got a beautiful guest speaker that we surprised a little with time zones this morning. So she's going to be joining us very, very shortly here. But we're pretty pumped about her because it's kind of a different take, I guess. Still all in the same avenue, but a different take on different ways that we can get there in that self-full piece of ourselves. And a lot of times people get it confused with the selfish.
It's true. Like, it's not selfish. I don't know why that's been ingrained, especially even as women, that it's selfish to think of ourselves first. It is self-full, because when we look after me, myself, and I, and this is for any living being on earth, it doesn't matter who you are, but when we look after ourselves first, we love ourselves, we are actually way better at helping everybody else in the entire world, because we're looking after what our needs are first.
Yes, you got it. So we'll go into our first little portion here, as we normally do, once I get it going. Okay, first of all, as we go through this, we want you guys to really get into it, feel it, own it, love it, and throw in that hashtag holy jumping tuna fish when something knocks your socks off, or you're like, oh, I never thought of that before. Any sort of ahas that come from anything, we like tuna fish for that. For any of you who are just joining too, where this came from is a Carrieism. Now, Carrie likes to make up lots of words and different phrases, and she takes things and makes them her own. And this is one that's really stuck over the years, because she gets super excited, goes, holy jumping tuna fish. And
true.
Yeah, so this is where the holy jumping tuna fish has come from and will continue to grow with us.
And we've only had one speaker, and his name is Warwick Schiller. That he's like, I don't get why you say holy jumping tuna fish. There's no logic to my brain. I said, well, there is no logic.
And he was more upset about the tuna fish.
Yeah.
We don't call a salmon fish. No. I was like, fair enough. Okay. But we're still sticking with the tuna fish. Also, share. Why? Because being self-full is important to every human out there. Every single human, man, woman, child, it doesn't matter, because we need to take care of ourselves first. We always have to have those pieces in place that help us to move forward, or be the authentic version of ourselves, or just really soak it all in for who we are and what we want to do with our lives and our passions as well. So share this out so that more people can find different ways of being self-full.
Absolutely.
And I don't know why this is so hard for me today. If you are catching this on replay, please throw in that replay hashtag as well, because we love to know that you've kind of joined us after the fact, and then we can still answer your questions or comments from there as well.
And where you're from.
Yeah, that's
and I like that. Blue Sky Farms and Kim Richardson. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
That's very exciting. But yeah, let us know where you're from. We always love knowing who's tuning in to this beautiful tribe, community, herd, our family, because we do consider you our family, because we're all life changers. Every single one of us who is on this page is a life changer in some way or another. Why do we know this? Because you are unique to the world. You are a gift to the world. So the more we collaborate and work together to help humans, because that's our purpose, it's just helping one human at a time. That's why sharing is so wonderful, because that's what we got to do on earth. Life is hard. So let's keep sharing and caring. As Carolyn always likes to put in with the Carolyn.
With the Carolyn.
With the Carolyn. I think so.
That's what Carolyn always likes to put in, the caring. I don't put it in with me, although I do share and I do care. Natalie, good morning to you as well. The other thing I was going to say with that is we were talking about our life changers, and we decided we're like, the people that take the course, for sure, we love to see people changing lives. We get to change lives, our horses do, but it's every single one of us out there. It doesn't matter if you're working with horses. It doesn't matter if you're a baker or you're
a stay-at-home mom, a lawyer, an accountant,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
One way or another, our purpose in this world is to help change somebody's life in a positive way. And it could be the smallest thing that you've ever done, but every single one of us is a life changer out there. So we love that piece too. For introductions, for those of you who don't know, my name is Carolyn Charles. I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing, as well as an instructor and a facilitator for the Equine Connection, the Academy of Equine Assisted Learning.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Fulmick, the founder and master instructor, helping people globally around the world do what it is that we do. And that really is changing lives through the power of the most incredible creature, the horse. And our mission, of course, in our certification is always the welfare of our horse comes first, because the number one thing a horse needs to feel is safe. When our horse feels safe, then we are able to work with humans and allow the horse to actually be the teacher to the humans. And it's the humans who make the changes on their own. We don't tell them what the horse is saying. We guide and help them through the journey. And of course, safety is the number one thing we do for both horse and human, but we're so proud. We can't even call this a job because we love every moment that we do this. And again, not only is our peace on earth to help, that almost sounds like a Christmas song. It really is. It's not just working with our horses, but it really is. We know purpose on earth is helping humans. So we love giving away our gifts that can help all kinds of people. It doesn't matter if you ever become certified with us or not. We just love that we're on the journey together because, again, different minds, different people from where you come from. This is what makes the world a really beautiful place to go around. To go around, it's kind of cute too. Yeah. I'm sure that's a song. So our guest speaker, who will be joining us hopefully momentarily, she just had a big, huge move she's actually from Canada. Then she's been living in Florida. And then I believe it's Croatia. I'd have to look back on my notes to where she has now living with her beautiful man.
We actually had someone on from Croatia last week.
Yeah, that's true. We did. But I want to tell you a little bit about her. So everybody, you want to go check out her podcast. And her podcast is called I Wonder If. And I really loved it. She contacted me last year and wanted to do an interview for her podcast, but she literally wanted to come out here to the farm to be able to do that. And of course, we all know that's in that COVID time. So we had a little window of opportunity when she came out. So of course, what do? I check her out. I got to make sure this chick is legit, right? So of course, I'm on her website and on her podcast, and I love it because I wonder if, that sits in every single one of us. I wonder if I did go and try to make my dream come true, no matter what it is. I wonder if I went to Africa and got to spend time with the elephants. Like, it's always those pieces that humans we think of, but a lot of us don't ever put the walk in the walk. We just talk about it. And I really love her podcast because it shows through inspiration of all other humans, all of us have the ability to achieve and pursue and move forward to our dreams. So anyway, she comes out, we do the podcast together. Now, here's the one thing I missed on her website. She's a sex therapist. Yeah, I did not know that. I don't know why. I guess I was just making sure she was legit, that she actually had a podcast and all this beautiful stuff. So as we're talking about how the horses help humans, and we were really specific in women and the Authentic You Women's Workshop, because she also does women's workshops. So we start talking. I said, one of the groups that we had in with the Authentic You, we started talking about orgasms. Yeah, we really did. And of course, my thought was, like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I said to her, I wonder if, see how that rolls into her podcast? Does an orgasm a day help you to stay at a happier place? Well, she just burst out laughing. And she said, this is hilarious. And then she goes to tell me she is also a sex therapist. Then she goes into all, of course, the scientific pieces of what an orgasm does. So I thought, is this not hilarious that, again, not knowing, and I throw this out there from what other women have said, and yeah, it is true. They can help. I don't know if any of us have the time for it, but it is beautiful to know. And I think she's just about to join us.
Well, we're hoping so. She says she's staring at a blank screen. So that's not good.
It is not good.
Maybe I'll try creating a new link here. Bear with us.
It's so cool that we can have, no matter where we are in the world, that we can still connect. Like, I don't even know what time it is where she's at, but I just think it's so stunning that we're able to do this. This is when I really like technology. There are lots of other times when I don't like technology, especially when it doesn't work, especially when you're trying to send a PDF, right? From an email and it's got too many pictures and you're on farm internet. That never rolls. Holy jumping tuna fish we already have. I like that. Okay, yeah, that's right, Kim. I know now what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's all coming back.
Yeah, it's all coming back to what I just spoke about. But do any of you have any questions thus far? They're like, no, because you haven't said really anything, except for what I just talked about.
Maybe just in the meantime, while we're waiting, let us know some of the ways that you guys try to stay self-full. What are some of the things that you do? And it can be the simplest thing, because some of us are, want to go for a massage or have baths or something like that. Maybe for other people, it's just hanging with their horses. For other people, it's hanging out with dogs. Did you know there's cat cafes?
No, that's so great.
There's places and puppy cafes. Like, there's places you can go in the world that you just go hang with puppies and kittens. And I'm a firm believer, if you could hang with baby animals every day of your life, you'd live longer.
You would be. I think they could be better than an orgasm.
Well, okay. But we'll wait for the sex therapist.
I actually heard that in some universities, before the big test, like in the olden days when you actually did write a test in person, that they would have puppy rooms as well. So take away some of those anxieties. I'm like, wow, living beings, animal living beings are so amazing to what they do for us humans. Kim, ride horses every day. That is really stunning that you do that every day. I'm kind of a little envious about that. So you just make the time for yourself, go for a ride.
I like it a lot. Okay, we're really working on this here. It's asking me to start a broadcast or simulcast. I'm in the app. I've never been in the app before. If one doesn't work, click the other one.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I can talk some more about this self-full piece, because
I think we can
the one giveaway, that's hilarious. So today what we're going to do, and I know we did this last week as well, but we have created a mini online course, and we want to gift that to you. And not only do we want to gift it to you, we want you to gift it and pay it forward to maybe any teenage girl, any woman that you really feel. Well, I actually think in personal development, whether you think you're totally confident, you're cool, you're fine, we can always learn to do something a little bit different in that personal development of oneself. So we are going to give that away free to you today. So we're going to put in all the detail after we speak with our beautiful Mona.
Maybe,
and maybe not. Maybe what we could do is read her bio.
Yeah. I'm going to just see if I can figure out.
Oh, you gals are. We try, Kim, we try. But, so we've got our Find Your Power in 5 days. And it really is just it's a small mini course. Give yourself, dedicate a half an hour to yourself a day, 5 days in a row. But it really is well worth it. Like, we've had phenomenal people, phenomenal women actually message us after they've taken the 5 day to say, my family saw a difference in me. I saw a difference in me, just getting back to the me, myself, and I. Because in busy worlds, we often forget who it is that we are. We forget that we have the power. And same thing happened to me in this time of COVID. My brain started working so much that I forgot my intuitive piece, where I needed to live here. I needed to be more grounded in the moment. I started to panic with all of the things that are happening on human rights and just those things that overwhelm you to think, is that ever going to change? Do I ever get to go out and dance again? And the same thing kept coming to me. Oh my goodness, you got to go back, be like a horse. You got to live in a moment. So even finding that power again, we have to know the skills that it takes to keep us coming back again. Because I don't like living in a world where you're thinking of future or past, because there's nothing I can do about it.
The future's so unsure anyway. It's overwhelming in the first place to do it.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
I think if this next piece doesn't work, I'm just going to call her on here with a video.
Okay.
And then we're going to do that.
Okay.
That's my backup plan here.
Well, you know what? I always love being flexible because we as humans have to be so flexible. But in business, you seriously have to be so flexible because when
Clearly
COVID hit, what did we have to do? We had to change everything around, except for our poor restaurants. Not all of them survived. We had two beautiful old businesses like Ranchman's and Booker's who've been around like for over 30 years. And of course, couldn't go through with anything else. Please, can I? Yes, of course you can.
What does it say?
I don't know, but I know Madame and I say, please, and can I have Bonita? Okay. So I think
that's, I think, say that we're pretty, but then the next one.
Oh, no.
We'll bring in the sex therapist for that.
Yeah,
one too.
We sure will.
Okay. I'm going to video call her.
Okay. Here we go. Should we do her bio first?
Yeah.
It says that we're leaving on a flight right now, but we're not.
We're not. We were supposed to.
Yeah, and we canceled that flight, and yet we keep getting notifications.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, so I'm on my computer now, so I'm wondering. Hey, so this is great.
You're here.
You're here. Yay.
Yay. Okay. Woo. We got you now.
Oh, here is our lovely.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Mona.
I was going to get all organized, and then I got the time wrong. I was thinking it was 8 hours, but it's clearly just 7 hours. So
yeah.
Sorry. You want to continue?
Yeah. I love Mona. Your background is stunning.
I have to say that is one of my bucket list places to go in this world. Montenegro, actually, is where I would love to go.
That's beautiful. Yeah. You are always welcome. You don't want to come now because we're rehabbing. That's why I'm outside and not inside. But anyway, it's going to get there. It's a beautiful spot. I hope it's not too noisy out here, but it's just
no,
inside it's like full of equipment and some black mold and some things like that in other rooms. So you don't want to come yet.
All about the flexibility. Let me know when that lifts up and I'll come visit.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your flexibility with me and all the technology. I apologize for that.
Well, that background is making it all better. I'm not going to lie.
It really is. And I think for all who are listening, just seeing you and that background makes us feel like we're actually on a vacation somewhere. So thank you.
Yeah.
Good. I don't feel like I'm on vacation, but thanks for saying that. That's great. That's good.
I was telling the Facebook family about our interview together. And of course, not really knowing that you were a sex therapist to begin with until we brought up orgasm. Then,
right. Like, let's just dive right in.
Yes. So that's how I feel the time is I let them know what happened with us.
And I think maybe what we'll do is we'll just go through your little bio and intro here real quick, and then we'll kind of go through some of the questions and we'll take it from there if that works for you.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. And I'm going to read it, guys. I'm going to cheat because I can't remember this much stuff. I'll be honest. So Mona, the lovely Mona here with us, is curious, inquisitive, and maybe a bit intrusive and doesn't consider many topics off limits. Our kind of gal. So you say intrusive, she says interested. As a sex therapist, mental health counselor, and coach, it's been her love and pleasure to listen to her clients' stories and help them build their ideal life, which is such a stunning concept right off the bat. Off the couch, Mona is inviting you to ride shotgun as she hits the road, sets sail, and flies away to interview the mavericks, disputers, the people, and with grit and determination, those people that dare to wonder and learn how they have taken their dreams and brought them to reality. So if you want to learn about moonshine, dating in Paris, better sex, who doesn't, opening a country inn, the best pancakes outside the US, being a burlesque dancer, the art of champagne, destination cooking classes, surviving Mardi Gras, raising oyster babies, and what it takes to be one of the most influential people in the cocktail industry, welcome. You have found your girl and your podcast. And I have to completely agree with that. Even going through it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is our kind of people.
She really is.
She was born on a ranch in Western Canada and now, was living in Florida, and now you're in Croatia, right?
Still living in Florida, just here just we'll be here on vacation a few months out of the year.
Okay. Yes.
Wow.
Turns out she's more of a mermaid than a snow bunny. I hear you, sister. She's a restless wanderer and wanderer. And at home, she's running paddleboarding, running like on purpose. Paddleboarding, silversmithing, surviving yoga, teaching, training, planning getaways, sipping the most, and sipping things bubbly. I love that too. You and Jane would get along beautifully. Mona dreamed of seeing the world by sea, and she's very grateful in how it's now a big part of her podcast travels. And finally, despite how often she goes to France, I love this part, her français is horrible without the H. Says her belle française. So much room for growth. So do check out her podcast as well, you guys. I wonder if we'll put a link in the description after, but welcome, Mona. We are so thrilled to have you.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, that was a very nice introduction. More than probably what I needed, but thanks for that.
It was funny because I was going to cut it down a bit, and then every part of it, I was like, this is lovely. So it's all staying.
I like that. All stay.
Yeah.
So Mona, can you let us know how in the world did you come up with I wonder if, and why? Why did you do it?
I think ever since I was a little girl, things would come to me curious ways. Like, I wonder if I can do this, and I wonder if I can accomplish that. And I think I always said it to myself in just a real whisper, like not really declaring it. And saying that to myself, I think the wheels would turn, and you would end up taking a class or meeting a person, and that just kind of helped you go on to the next thing. So things would start with just a curiosity and a wonder. And then what happens with the universe is things just start falling into place. You meet the right people, opportunities show up. So I wonder if was an opportunity for me. Like, I, as a therapist, ask questions all the time and love what I do and love people's stories. And I think for me personally, I've had so much growth listening to people's stories, whether it's audible or hearing someone's stories, or a professor or a teacher, just knowing how they've taken a dream and brought it to reality, and how they've stuck with it, how they've, no matter what the adversity, if it was important enough, they kept going. So that was always intriguing for me. And the idea of the podcast came to me, actually, we were sailing in Greece, and we had gone to I'd lost a flip-flop. There's always a dinghy and a flip-flop, some kind of probably post-Greek wine event. Anyway, so we'd gone to this little island, and I ended up seeing this book. It was Falling in Honey, and it was written by, I asked the girl at the shop, it was written by an English girl who moved to this Greek island and fell in love with a fisherman, but they broke up and she stayed. I thought, I have got to meet this person, and it's interesting because I have yet to do that interview because COVID blocked us last year. But the idea of finding out how someone moved from England, decided she wanted to live on this island, and all the other things she did, I thought it was a great story and super inspiring. And we've stayed in contact since then. But the idea came to me. I've been blessed with the opportunity to do some traveling, lots to do with having this international relationship, and meeting people that have great stories, and and thinking, I love this story. I would love for other people to know. I'm inspired. I'm hoping it would inspire someone else. So then the thing just took off. And what the beautiful thing was, I would travel someplace, like maybe I would go to Paris, or I'd be in another city, and I'd start Googling interesting people, entrepreneurs or business starters or expats. And then you kind of fall down that rabbit hole, and all of a sudden you find these really interesting people. And literally it was like throwing spaghetti at the wall. What's stuck? I would write to people and say, hey, I'm launching this podcast. I hadn't even launched it yet. But I love your story. I would love to know more. Would you be open to an interview? And no one has said no. Everybody is so generous with their time. And so I've had some, again, great opportunities just going in and meeting people. One of my first interviews was in Paris with a guy that opened the first diner. Breakfast in America, pancakes in Paris. And his story was just incredible about moving to that city and everything he had to go through, trying to open a business, not being from the country, all the ups and downs, funny stories. And so this is kind of where it led. And the interesting thing behind it is, with every podcast, it's almost like there should be a podcast about the podcast, because these people have shared their time and their stories. And instead of just meeting someone in a restaurant or meeting someone because you're traveling on a plane, you get close to them and you learn more about them and you feel this great connection. And it was so funny because I was really nervous. Clearly, I don't have a background in broadcasting. And so enough to get the courage to launch the first podcast, I would just listen to the interview and it had nothing to do with me. People are not on there to listen to me, but people's stories were so inspiring. I thought, I have to get them out there. So the ball just got rolling. And, you know, once the podcast was up, I think people were able to read a little bit more about the stories. And if it was in line with what they were doing or promoting, then they were open to the interviews. So it's been so much fun. And my goal is to tell the story, but also to promote what people are doing. If they're doing like you guys, right, your incredible retreats and your workshops, to promote that and let the rest of the world know that this is going on and there are opportunities. So my goal was always sort of to be of service and to be able to give something back. And that was always the goal, you know, the primary goal for the podcast. So I guess it's been just over a year. My first podcast launched February of last year, right in the start of COVID. And it's been so much fun. And the people have just been delightful, the people that I've met on this journey.
It's so lovely to be a part of that purpose. Like you just grabbed it. And now all of your podcasts have to do with a human being that had a thought. Then they move that thought to actually making it a reality. And it's so exciting because purpose is helping another human. And by you sharing all these inspirational stories, it gives us that we can do it too. Why not me? Why not you? Why not? We don't have to wait in life to make any of these beautiful gifts that are into each and every individual to be able to bring them to fruition. So that must be so exciting to be a part of helping these humans globally around the world.
Yeah, and being connected.
Oh, well, you know, yeah, we're relationship creatures. That's what we're drawn to do. We're drawn to come together and bond and meet. And so building these relations, like to me, that's what life is all about, is creating relationships and having those experiences. So that's what's been really special, you know, for me. And you find this common bond. The other common bond I've found through the podcast, it seems like every single person, we got the dogs in the house, good job.
Yeah, you just heard it.
Every single person that I've interviewed in some way comes back to the idea of community. Everybody has a story about community, how community has supported them, how community has been there if it weren't for their community. That's another piece that I love, is that relationship piece and that sense of community. That's what's been really a special link in everything. It wasn't even a question, but it comes up every single time, how they've been supported by their communities.
I love that so much. And I do believe even through COVID time, it has created more of that community involvement, because maybe for a time as humans, we were forgetting that community. Like we were going to places that actually didn't live with us. So I really find that piece very exciting and positive. So there has been so many positive things with that.
And
yes.
Good morning to Bree, Michelle, and Penny, and Jeremy as well. If you guys do have questions, and Sean, if you guys have questions for Mona too, throw them up in there, because we can definitely help you out with those too.
Absolutely. Now, here's the fallacy. So many people think it's selfish to do self-care, to be aware of what one human being needs. We know that that is not true. We know that it's actually self-full, but that is also your mission, helping people to be aware, all humans, that it's very self-full to be able to do that. Can you tell us more of how you're doing that and helping humans?
Well, you know, I think for women, we spend so much of our time with our energy going out, taking care of other people, and serving other people, that at the end of the day, there tends to be very little left for us. And I don't think we sometimes even have the energy to receive, because so much has gone out. And so for me, the idea of self-care, self-love, self-knowledge, all of that stuff is it's not selfish, it's essential. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, you will have nothing to give. And I think then the joy goes out too, because if you like to give and you like to be of service, you want to enjoy that. You don't want to feel tapped out and burned out. And so it was interesting. I guess it was about that soon after, Carrie, you and I had met, I think I had told you that I'm launching a retreat business because probably a primary goal is to have women come, because I was noticing during COVID, as we were not necessarily taking as good a care of ourselves, right? And so many people were home with children, so many people were working from home, maybe people had lost jobs and things like that, that there was such a lack of focus on themselves. And it was a weekend I was away with, I have a really great crew of girlfriends in Florida and Alberta too. But we were all away for the weekend, and I put this weekend together where we had yoga instruction and we all came together to eat, and we were swimming and just hanging out. We did this bike scavenger hunt. And I was looking at all of these women and thinking, all of these things that we rarely do for ourselves, every once in a while, our group does it, but so many other women don't have access to that. And I realized that I wanted to create something where other women, just besides my crew, could go and experience the sense of community, being with like-minded people that were nurturing and on the same page, an opportunity to take care of them, to pamper them. Just put your bags down, show up, we're going to handle the rest. Having services like yoga, meditation, hypnosis, massage, and facials, where for 3 days in a small group, women could come and just have a little taste of what it's like to give back to themselves. So maybe after the retreat, they would go home and practice some of the strategies that they picked up at the retreat, or at least they would wake up to the idea that those opportunities were out there. So that's part of that self-care piece, because I just think that we need to be reminded to do that. I'm a great, I have to work at it all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
What about you two? How's your self-care?
We were just talking about that before you came on as well, that, this is why it's so amazing when we have these programs and opportunities and inspired by other people's stories, that it's some of those skills and the tools that we have to keep knowing, we have to keep going to. You can't just learn something once and then, I'm set for no, we're not. We have to continually come to that toolbox of what's the skill I'm going to use today, because the one thing we all know, we're going to die. Now, I do bring up death many times, but I feel as humans, we sometimes forget to live because we forget we're going to die. If we actually understood we are going to die, we would be more self-aware to understand all we got is now. So in our now, even with COVID and all the crazy things that can be happening, what do I do for me so I don't go living in a world of future or past, because it doesn't exist anymore, right? So I know we're always going back to those skills to help us get back to our nows.
That mindfulness place too, of appreciating the moment that you're in a lot of time. Although I gotta tell you, as you were describing what you guys were doing, I was like, that's what I want to do. I think many of us want to do, and we don't, necessarily take that time. And Carrie, you mentioned self-awareness. That self-knowledge, self-awareness. If that's not there, if you're not tuning into that, you're not going to know to instill the self-care. You're not going to know that that's missing, and how to get back in alignment, how to be able to be mindful, get back in alignment, so that you know that you're sort of being of service to yourself. Yeah, even knowing when you're getting overwhelmed. Like I have a background of depression too. And it's one of those things that if you're not mindful of where you're at with it, it can sneak up on you so fast. And then all of a sudden you're in this, you're like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah.
Like, what just happened to my brain? But if you are constantly making yourself aware of where you are when you are overstressed, or when you need to take that moment to just, you know what, I need some me time, or whatever it may be, when you're aware of those pieces, it makes it so much easier to manage everything that's going on in your life and in your head, because you're taking care of that piece before it gets to the place where you're completely overwhelmed and you don't know what to do with yourself at that point, right?
Absolutely. And And that mindfulness piece, I think that people complicate that in their minds. They make it seem like it's this difficult thing to do. They have to make the time, and they have to, whether it's meditation, they have to do it for an hour and a half, and they have to go someplace to do it. You don't. It's as simple as 2 minutes to just tune in, to all the senses and be present and sort of get grounded and catch your breath again, right? Or that overwhelmed feeling, you'll just spin and the anxiety kicks in, and anxiety is such a domino effect. We create it, we perpetuate it with our thoughts and our worries. So definitely.
It's so true. I'm loving the comments we're getting in here too, that a lot of people are saying, yes, how important that piece is in their different ways. Some are breathing deeply and meditating and yoga. Others are starting their business and working with horses, or making sure that they're constantly spiritualizing their thoughts. So lots of great ideas of different ways that people get into that mindset. And you're right. It's not like you have to spend a week retreat to always tune into that. It's just, tuning in, check in with yourself, just like you would with other people.
Yeah. And, I think one of the hugest things that's a gift and free to all of us is we have earth. And, the one thing I just know, when there is no time, like you say, 2 minutes, just go and breathe in air. Just go sit down just on the dirt for even just 2 minutes to just feel. Look at the mountains, look at your prairies, look at the tree, hear the bird. Just be connected to just that 2 minutes of a moment, and you already feel like, okay, here I am. I'm here. I'm not there, and I'm not there, right?
And I think too, even without you saying it, what comes to mind and something that helps me tune into that mindfulness is that exercise of being grateful, that gratitude, where, you're talking about, feel the earth, I'll be grateful for the earth, like hear the birds, I'm grateful for the earth. And when we can focus on what we have and rather than what's missing, then all of a sudden we can tune in. We're not out there, we're right here. It was interesting. We stayed at this beautiful Airbnb before we could move into this house, and it's a small island, and there aren't really any tourists on this island yet. And so at the Airbnb, there's vineyards, and then there's this beautiful cathedral. Every town has a beautiful cathedral in the center. And the bells, I could hear the bells, and all of a sudden I could hear them singing, and it was echoing. It was like the birds and the mass, and it was such an incredible thing, right? And it was just that so simple, but tuning into what was happening instead of being out there. And I think that's an easy and fast way to get back to being mindful, right?
Yeah, like the rocks out front.
Yes,
Carrie,
exactly.
The place where Carrie lives. So well said. But she's got these beautiful mountain chunks on front of her house. And the first time we went to go sit on them, it was a beautiful sunny day, and we talk a lot. But when we were out there, it was just nice to be in silence. And we came to that. This is so nice. And nice is such a big word. Like when you really soak it in, you're like, this is nice. Like, and it was so lovely just to, and we keep saying, when it's nice, let's go sit on the rocks.
You feel that the sun radiating out of those beautiful pieces of earth. I know that's wonderful. That's good. Yeah.
It's much more eloquent than my words made it sound.
No, I get it. And I think too, something else, like when you describe that experience, I think it's sitting there too and feeling it and saying, I feel good right now. Okay, what am I doing? I'm sitting here in the sun. I have this wonderful friend with me. The sun is shining. I feel good. I should be doing more things like that. If this feels good and I want to feel good more often, I have to go do more things that feel like that.
So true. I love that.
So for the last question, because I think it really ties in beautiful, being self-aware, being mindful, having self-love. Everybody does have a dream, whether they know it or not. Sometimes it gets lost. Sometimes it's just, I forgot what it was that I was dreaming of, or
busy.
Exactly. Yeah. What are some of the steps, knowing that we want to go forth, we want to build this dream? Because we all know dreams are flipping hard. We know it's hard, but you see, this is why so few people actually get to live their dream, because they're like, a mountain comes in the way and they think, oh, that's my sign to quit. Oh no, you got to build through it. You got to climb over it, but it's so worth it once you go through it. But what are some simple things that we can do, all of us, to be able to continually build that dream and that self-awareness, being mindful of what it is we're gifted for on this earth?
So first of all, something that women have, men have too, but women have it, I think it sounds a little bit louder, is that intuition, listening to that gut, listening to that intuition. And as we get older, actually our intuition sharpens even more. And listening to that intuition, and what's it saying? What's it directing you toward or away from? And what's that little voice saying? You know, it is the I wonder if I can go there. I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can complete this class. Listen to that voice. It's no accident that it's showing up. It's no accident when you meet that person and you feel inspired that it's happening. Listen to it. What's happening for you? And take some time with that. Instead of immediately saying, oh, that's unattainable. Figure out some ways that you can learn more about it. Figure out some ways that you can get connected with that. And I think, again, coming back to this gratitude thing, and it's I put together for a women's retreat. We did this yoga and mimosas for International Women's Day, our first live event, and I had, it was wonderful, and we had these little journals for everybody, and inside just some steps to take, and that was that, breathe, release what no longer serves you. We have to clear out the gunk. We have to let go of old messages. We have to let go of other people's voices in our ear so that we can stay on track with what resonates with us. So that's one thing, is what do you need to release? And what are you grateful for? What do you appreciate about yourself right now? Like, what do you want to thank yourself for? That's something we don't tune into.
So true.
And it can be so simple. And what are you wondering about? What I did this big thing for 2020, this big I wonder if, which fell flat in its face because of COVID. But just what are you wondering about this year? Jot it down, draw it, write it, vision board it, take pictures of it, but have those things around you, because whatever you think about, you get more thoughts about. So if you have those things around you and you surround yourself with those things that you're inspired by, it's kind of a crazy magical thing that happens. Things will start showing up. Signs, people will start showing up to help guide you. And don't ignore that. And don't say to yourself, I'm too old, or I'm a mom and I'm too busy. Figure out some other ways. Even if you can't go away, like, what's a dream, right? To go away for a 2-week retreat someplace. And but not everybody can do that. But finding some ways, if it's not a retreat for 2 weeks or a weekend, how about a half a day? How about just being able to do something small that is in alignment with your dreams? And I have this, it drives my mom crazy, but I have this belief system that you can have it all. My all is not your all, but people have to figure out what that is for them and find out how to bring that into their life. And the thing is, if we're looking forward more into the future and planning and setting goals and dreaming and putting steps in place, we stop living in the past, because past memories and all that stuff, that's the stuff that holds us back. So I guess I want people to keep dreaming, and I want them to write it down, and I want them to be open to exposing themselves to things that maybe are unfamiliar, that make you feel a little vulnerable, because that's the space of growth. There's no growth without some discomfort. So just, stay on the course. It's been a bumpy year, but it's also given us lots of time to think and even get involved in other projects. And once we start ramping up again, I hope that people will follow through on some of the promises they made to themselves about what their self-care would look like, or the courses or the classes or the workshops they said they would do, or the time with friends they said they would do when COVID is behind us, right? I hope that answers the question.
Wow. Really well. No, super duper well. And I really love the idea of having those things, or your words, or those visions around you, so you're continually listening to that intuitive piece that we are definitely blessed with. I love that idea. Instead of just putting it in a book, closing it, and maybe you'll look at it in another couple of months when you're not feeling so great. So I love that there's an awareness everywhere you look, whatever that looks like for you in that spacing. That's lovely. All your advice has been lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it helps.
And do you want to let everybody know what your website is as well, just so that they have the opportunity to go learn some more about you?
Sure. My website is iwonderifpodcast.com. And there will be some information in there coming out soon. My first live retreat is going to be in September. It got moved, so I'll be doing that for a long weekend at Tarpon Lodge in Florida, a beautiful old historical fishing village. And it's all about pampering, boat charters and funky little places on islands and yoga, massage, and facials. So you can learn a little bit more about the retreat there. And I know you guys are like a perfect fit.
We're coming.
Yeah, I want to go.
And I just hope if people enjoy a podcast, maybe it will be something that just inspires them to go after what's really. Don't let the naysayers, right? Don't let those negative voices show up. Keep pushing through. Yeah.
Because there are a lot and a lot and a lot of them.
Yeah.
There's lovely, positive, let's move forward, you can do it people, but there seem to be, you got to really find that tribe and that group that's going to support you in the way that's necessary for you.
Yeah, because sometimes it's hard for people seeing other people move towards their dreams when they don't know how to move towards their own.
Yeah.
Right.
And you have to be aware of what that energy might feel like coming from someone. Someone might be sort of poo-pooing it because ultimately they would like to be inspired to do that. So move toward the cheerleaders, move toward the people that are celebrating you and want you to accomplish and succeed at the things that are important to you.
Yes. Oh, we've got some people saying, let's plan a ladies retreat.
Okay. Come on down to Florida.
He's one of the girls.
Yeah, he really is.
Sorry, Jer. He loves it.
No, thank you so much. Even though it was a little chaotic, here it goes to show again. Look at how you just put it together, and you were just there. You're calm. You're so solid. Your foundation of your humanness. To me, I can feel how lovely it is, and your voice just makes me want to just melt away, be in your water and on a boat.
Yeah.
So this is lovely. I think everybody should just listen to you speak. I think that's a great way to be.
Agreed. Next time we do this, we'll just throw you on and just sit here and watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are like the self-esteem fairies. Thank you for that. This is the most beautiful moment of my day, I can tell you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes. And I know you guys are getting ready to have, hopefully very soon, you'll have your workshops up and moving. I know it's a challenging time in Canada right now, but I'm hoping that will be happening soon because people need it.
Yes.
They really, really do.
Yes.
The intention is that it will go forth because people do need it and people need each other. Like you said, we are people. There is something about connection with other people that drives us all forward in so many ways. And that's something that right now in this world is really tough. So it's so beautiful with things like your podcast or the 5 days to empowerment or different things that we can do to still feel connected even through disconnected times.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Thank you again, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We so appreciate it, Mona. Looking forward to hearing more of your podcasts. I have now subscribed. So I actually have it on my phone because now I have vowed, here's my self-awareness. Every time I drive now, I'm going to listen to a podcast instead of listening to music, which I love music, but I thought I need more different things going on in my brain instead of the same old music that keeps on playing.
You were the inspiration for her to figure out how to work a podcast on her phone.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are the inspiration for me to learn how to do Facebook Live because there's clearly a learning curve there I haven't mastered.
Oh, you would kick ass at Facebook Live.
Yes.
The amount of people that would tune in to hear things.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're going to do it. You're going to do it.
Super sweet. Okay. All right. I accept the challenge.
Okay, I love it. And to our beautiful Facebook tribe or to our herd, the one thing for you to get this free giveaway as well that we are gifting to you that you're more than welcome to gift to other women in your life. I mean, the guys, you can take it too, but it is definitely more directed to women. But you know what? If you learn one thing from it too, it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Maybe even for the man that you are, helping your sister or your mom, or
understanding us. Maybe.
Good luck with that. I don't know if the poor men are ever going to understand our women brains, but that's okay. So just put in the comment.
What's the word we should use today?
It's belong.
I know that's the code.
Oh, that's
but
the
what
code.
should we make them type? Selfful.
Oh,
That's the one for today. Selfful.
okay.
So throw that into the comments, and then I will update it and comment back, letting you guys know when the description's updated to get your free course. And don't forget, go check out the iwonderifpodcast.com. Really awesome content on there and good stuff. Like there's lots of laughs, there's good stories, heartfelt things. It's all good stuff.
Well said. That was so professional.
I went to school for communications. PR, if you can believe it.
And all that stuff. Anyways, everyone, I'm Carrie Fulmack. Have an amazing day, because remember, you don't know when your last breath is going to be. Be very mindful, be very self-aware of the beautiful gift that you are, and just look outside and be.
Yes. And I'm Carolyn Charles. We'll see you guys all next week on Wednesday, 9 a.m.
CC,
Mountain Time. See you guys. Have a great day.